Hi everyone. Today we are going to be talking about revising our paragraphs. So by the end of this video, you're going to be able to revise your paragraph by including transition words and specific examples so that your writing sounds fluent and informative. So grab your notebook and a pencil and let's get started. All right, so the first thing is, what does it mean to revise? Revising is making changes to your writing so it sounds better. Okay, and you'll hear I said so it sounds better. That's the next step in revising, is you have to read your writing out loud. Okay, this helps you hear how it sounds. So is it too choppy? Is it too boring? Is it too repetitive? Is there enough information? Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read you my paragraph that I have written. And if you haven't done the topic sentence, supporting details, and concluding sentence exercises, check out the links below. I'll have those videos linked so you can do that before you do this step. All right, so here is my paragraph. Dogs are the best kind of pet. They are cuddly and affectionate. You get to take them places with you. They get excited when you come home. For those reasons, dogs make the greatest pets. Okay, so for me, that sounded a little bit choppy, and it also sounded like wasn't a lot of information. So I'm going to start with the choppiness, and one way to help smooth things out is to add transition words. So I have in a handout, which I can link and show at the end of this video. Some transition words are first, next, then, finally. And if you need more options, you can always Google transition words or sentence starters, and a whole list of them will come up, and that'll give you some options on what to add to the beginning of your sentences. So I'm going to go in and add in sentence starters to each of my supporting details at the beginning of each supporting detail. So I'm going to add, first of all, they are cuddly and affectionate. Next, you get to take them places with you. Lastly, they get excited when you come home. That way it sounds smoother when I read it. Okay, so the next step is to read it out loud again so I can hear how it sounds. So here's how it sounds now that I added those transition words. Dogs are the best kind of pet. First of all, they are cuddly and affectionate. Next, you get to take them places with you. Lastly, they get excited when you come home. For those reasons, dogs make the greatest pets. Okay, I think that sounds a little bit better. It's not so choppy, but I think it needs more still. So the next step is to add examples to each reason. So each supporting detail, I need to add a specific example. So what's a specific example of dogs are cuddly and affectionate? Okay, well, I think snuggling on the couch or snuggling in bed. That's a specific example of them being cuddly and affectionate. So I'm going to write that detail. Okay? And I'll show you that in the next clip. Okay? The next thing is we have to brainstorm opposite examples. Okay, this helps strengthen your argument. So my reason, or my supporting detail number one, was first of all, they are cuddly and affectionate. Okay, and they always like to snuggle up on the, so then I went on to add that example of them snuggling up on the couch and being soft. And they're soft, they're like a soft teddy bear that you get to hug in bed. Okay, so what's an example of a pet, an opposite pet that doesn't like to snuggle? A cat. So I'm going to use that as an opposite example to show how dogs really are cuddly and affectionate and they're the best kind of pet. So I'm going to say cats, on the other hand, avoid their owners and usually hide under the bed. Okay, so we're going to go through now and add a specific example to the next supporting detail and an opposite example. So my next supporting detail was, next, you get to take them places with you. What is an example of a place I could take my dog with me? The park. Okay, so I'm going to say, if you want to go to the park or exercise outside, then your dog can go with you and even play with you. Now, what's an example, an opposite example showing a pet that really can't go outside? A fish. Okay, so I'm going to say, however, if you had a pet fish, you wouldn't be able to do this because he'd have to stay in his fish tank at home. Okay, I'm sure people could take a fish in a fishbowl and go places, but that's really uncommon. That's not, what you do with a fish. Typically, fish, they stay in their tank, okay? All right, and my last supporting detail was, they get excited when you come home. So I'm talking about how dogs get really excited the moment you come home. So what's an example of a dog doing this? Well, they run up and jump on you and show a lot of joyful emotions. So I'm going to use that as an example. Okay, and what are some opposite examples? What are some animals that don't really get excited? Well, at least for me, when I had hamsters and rabbits, frogs, snakes, those animals didn't do that whenever we'd come in the door. They didn't even know we existed, really. So I'm going to say, for my opposite example, hamsters, rabbits, frogs, and snakes don't even notice when you come home because they're probably sleeping. Okay? And I'm going to go on and add one more detail just because I want to prove that dogs are really awesome. And I'm going to say that even when dogs are sleeping, that they'll wake up and they'll still jump on you and when they hear your voice. Okay? Because that's what makes dogs different than other pets, in my opinion. Okay? All right, so I'm going to show you in the next clip what my messy revised paragraph looks like. And it's okay that it's messy because this is the revising stage, and revising is messy. Now, for the sake of time, I'm only going to revise my paragraph once, but if you have more time, you can always go back and change things and add more details. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to show you what I've done this one time revising. But just so you know, authors and writers revise many times, like 5, 10, 20 times over and over and over again before they publish anything. So it's very common to go back and change and change and change until it gets really good, okay? So that's a normal behavior for good writers. Okay, so now that I'm done with adding more examples and opposite examples, I'm going to use the rubric to check my work. So for 5 points, that's the highest number of points you can get, and you want to shoot for that because that's the point value you want. It says transition words used at the beginning of each supporting detail, 3 total. Start with a capital letter. Okay, so you need 3 transition words total. And you'll see in the next clip, I'll show you some examples and non-examples of what your paragraph should look like. Okay, so in green, I'll have transition words. So you can see I have 3 transition words and they're in green font. Okay, next you need 1 example added to each supporting detail, 3 examples total, and they need to be written in a complete sentence. So that means a capital and a period. And for those, I'm going to have those in purple. So you'll see I have 3 purple sentences. Okay, and that shows you all my specific examples. And then lastly, you need 1 opposite example added to each supporting detail. So you're going to need 3 total because 1 for each supporting detail. And those are going to be in blue. So you'll see the blue, and I did add that 1 extra detail about the dog sleeping, so you'll see that in there. Anyways, so that's what you need for a good revised paragraph, okay? And don't forget, I will, in the next clip, show you some good examples and some not so good examples, okay? If this video was helpful for you, please feel free to share it with your friends. All right, bye for now.